Imagine that you are a trader. You buy goods from one place and sell your products to another place. Your business is booming, your turnover is massive, but every single day you are paying a high cost for transportation and logistics. Let's say you're using a transport company's trucks. Not only does this raise the cost of your product, but if these trucks come to a halt for even a single day, you incur a massive loss. So what do? You get your own trucks. Not only do you now own the transport infrastructure that your business is hinged upon, but other traders want to use your trucks, giving you more business, and your turnover can grow by leaps and bounds without restrictions. This is what India is planning to do now, except instead of trucks, we are talking about ships, the lifeblood of the global economy. That's right, India is foraying into the global shipbuilding scene. It wants to be one of the top shipbuilding nations in the world. At the recent Sagar Manthan Summit in New Delhi, India unveiled an ambitious plan to be on top of all verticals in maritime logistics, from port operations to cargo handling, ship ownership, shipbuilding, ship repair, recycling, and technology.
India, for the first time, has announced its intention and determination to be part of the blue stories of the future.
In fact, India wants to become the shipbuilding capital of the world.
So India, we want to become the shipbuilding capital in the world tomorrow. So these are the future vision plan we have, and that is why all kind of modernization, mechanization, digitization, technology, investment, everything will be put into the right perspective so that this particular vision can be met.
Now that's a big ambition, but is this aim too high for India? Well, certainly not. In fact, India has not been aiming high enough, despite its rich history in shipbuilding.
India is one of those countries which has a very impressive and long maritime history. Very often when you hear about maritime culture and ancient maritime culture, the Phoenicians come to your mind. But in fact, Indians were sailing the oceans 1,000 or more years before the Phoenicians. So if you look back to our history, going back to the Bronze Age, we had Indian merchants sailing all the way through to Mesopotamia in 5,000, 6,000 years ago. Indeed, we are the only country in the world which actually has an ocean named after us, the Indian Ocean.
Currently, China tops the list of shipbuilding nations. In 2023, it alone built more than 51%. That is more than half of the world's merchant ships by gross tonnage. South Korea comes second at 28% and Japan with a 15% share. These are the three major players in the shipbuilding scene. No other nation comes close. And India certainly does not, with a less than 1% share. In fact, India's share stands at 0.06% only, although this share is projected to increase. In 2022, India's shipbuilding industry was valued at just $90 million, but it is projected to reach $8 billion by 2033.
Despite this very long and impressive maritime history, today, India, at the cusp of becoming the world's third largest economy, in fact in PPP terms already the world's third largest economy, is in the awkward position where we really have only 1,500 odd large ships. 1.4 billion people are served by only 500 odd overseas ships that trade with the rest of the world. So, an economy which is already 8% of the world economy, 16% of the world's population is served by only 1.2% carrying capacity in terms of Indian-owned ships.
Currently, around 95% of India's trade relies on foreign vessels, resulting in an annual outflow of $110 billion. But with a rising share in world trade, a GDP that is poised to become the third largest by 2030 and projected to touch $30 trillion by 2050, India must safeguard its unique position by entering the big leagues in maritime trade. And how does India plan to do this?
As you know, we have already one of the most credible unit, that is Cochin Shipyard Limited. And they have, perform in a very, very visible manner by manufacturing one of the largest warship in the world. So that is indigenous aircraft carrier, INS Vikram.
Here, the minister is talking about Cochin Shipyard, a state-owned shipbuilder that recently built the INS Vikrant, an entirely homemade aircraft carrier which was commissioned in 2022. It is this expertise that India will be leveraging to venture into the realm of commercial shipbuilding. In fact, despite lagging behind in this sector so far, India has all the makings of a maritime hub, from a vast coastline, port and shipbuilding know-how to steel production and skilled workers.
India, ironically, for its very small footprint in the shipping world, ironically has a huge amount of capabilities. Not only do we have a long coastline, we actually have a great deal of shipbuilding capability. We are one of the few countries in the world which can actually build nuclear submarines, aircraft carriers. We make our own steel, we have young people. Indeed, we already contribute some 20% of the world's sailors. So it's not like we are not capable of doing all of this. We do. But we need to change policy in a fundamental way in order to be able to take on the shipping world.
The plan is not restricted to just shipbuilding though. According to an exclusive report by CNN News 18's Shubhangi Sharma, India is also exploring ways to enter the global container shipping business, and it is roping in another state-owned company to lead the way, the Container Corporation of India Limited, CONCOR. CONCOR specializes in containerized freight transportation and has a working model that integrates rail and road services. The whole idea is to be, and I quote, a complete end-to-end logistics service provider and gain a foothold in the overseas market. Here's what India's shipbuilding mission involves. Firstly, the goal is to become a global maritime hub by 2047, and for this, India will invest rupees 80 lakh crore across the maritime industry. Secondly, India's shipbuilding mission has identified 12 areas for action, including financing, insurance, ship ownership and leasing, chartering, shipbuilding, ship repair, recycling, flagging and registration operations. This also includes technical management, staffing and crewing, and arbitration. That means the whole package. The plan is to introduce significant policy changes in the near future to enable all these areas. For example, India is preparing to relax ship and vessel ownership norms. Liberalized policies will unleash India's untapped potential in this sector. Thirdly, India seeks to build shipbuilding parks in collaboration with global leaders like South Korea, Japan, and Greece. And fourth, Sonowal's ministry is planning to set up a maritime development fund with a corpus of around rupees 25,000 crore to provide long-term financing. More initiatives are in the pipeline, including enhanced port infrastructure for cruise ships and a repair and recycling mission for which ports in Kochi, Mumbai, Chennai, etc. have been chosen. And India is serious about this plan. India has recently approved a 76,000 crore rupees port at Vadhavan in Maharashtra. Another mega port has been proposed at Galathea Bay in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The Vizhinjam International Seaport, India's first deep water port, is another jewel in the crown of India's maritime prowess. In fact, India is aiming to handle 10 billion tons of cargo by 2047 from around 2.6 billion in 2023. That will be a massive jump. India is also ensuring that it leverages geopolitics to its best potential. The India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor, which would connect India to Europe through the Middle East and is an important trade route that India is working on. Another important trade route is the International North-South Transport Corridor, the INSTC, which includes India's heavy investment in the Chabahar port in Iran. Moreover, India is not only looking outwards but also inwards. Under the Sagarmala initiative to build inland waterways, more than 800 projects worth rupees 5 trillion are in the works, with 200 projects already implemented. Sagarmala aims to build shipping and port infrastructure to harness the potential of India's highly navigable rivers and boost inland trade. If India can foster an end-to-end maritime ecosystem, it will not only make its exports more competitive, helping India counter China's dominant share in global exports and gain its own foothold, but also serve as a strategic asset that bolsters its autonomy and global standing. This means more geopolitical leverage and a secure environment for Indian businesses to grow. If done right, this is a journey that will transform the landscape of the Indian economy, unlocking its potential to unseen levels.